How you treat yourself is how you get treated. And this is why it's so important to cultivate self love. And I know we've heard it so many times. And that's because it's truthful and it's essential. And so, as we cultivate more and more love here, as we respect ourselves, as we create relational space, which includes energetic understanding of what we want in our proprioceptive terrain, right? What we want in our field. And so people talk a lot about boundaries. And to me, boundaries are really inner honoring. So inner honoring is being clear with self about what I am willing to invite into my relational space. But I don't know that until I know how to create a space for me, how to nurture and support myself on an auric field or proprioceptive terrain level. So proprioceptive terrain is a scientific term. It's the nervous system, right? So the nervous system can feel and has a certain expansion. You know how it is when you're sitting somewhere and you just have a feeling someone's looking over your shoulder, or you energetically have a sense of someone before they walk in or when they walk in. You know how it is when you're interested in being closer to someone or you want to step away. That's all part of our proprioceptive terrain. It actually helps us create balance. And it's a very important aspect of this physiology and this system of the body, this incredible system of this incredible body. And it really is also our auric energy. So we can nourish it, we can cleanse it, we can clarify it, and that supports us in then having healthier relationships and clearer boundaries. So let's talk about, what do you want? What do you want in your energy field? What are you interested in attracting? What are you willing to tolerate? So when we have healthy self-esteem and self-worth, when we create in our own world a sense of sovereignty, self-governance and knowing, and also a healthy embrace, then as people enter in, if they enter without a vibrational match, and that can be including not just their how they show up, but like the words they speak. If that's not a vibrational match to how you treat yourself, it's very easy to honor yourself by saying, ooh, stop, that didn't feel good. I am not willing to have you speak to me that way. Could we do a redo? Now, you can be gentle and compassionate like you are with yourself, I think, right? But it's clear. So inner honoring is healthy agreements with self first. Building strong boundaries starts here. Am I creating boundaries and agreements with myself that I am following through with? One of the fastest ways to build self-esteem is to make a commitment to yourself and follow through. Not something crazy and wild that you can't fulfill, but what are the commitments you can make to yourself and then follow through? Because every time we follow through, we grow our self-esteem. So I have a commitment to myself around certain foods that I eat and don't eat, because I know that I feel better when I nourish my body with healthy foods and avoid anything really sweet. That's a healthy agreement with myself, right? I also know a healthy agreement for me has to do with getting daily movement, and I follow through on that. That builds our self-esteem. So then when we have other people in our lives, it's so much easier to ask for healthy agreements or to just create them in our relationships. Whether we're single or in a relationship, it's always the time to be careful and caring in our own inner terrain, in our own self-care, in our own self-worth, because how we treat ourselves, we will allow others to treat ourselves that way. I will say that I have spent so much of my life, and it still is tender, criticizing myself, not being good enough, noticing what I was doing wrong, finding fault in my past, having regrets and mistakes. And it is such a spiritual crime, as John Rogers used to put it. It's a spiritual crime to self-indict. And it's really an inner bully. It's an inner critic. And it's taken me years. And sometimes right now, still, I need to watch her because she can be very hard on me, right? Inside of me. So I've learned to have dialogue with this inner critic, the one that is saying, I'm not enough. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, if only. Oh, everyone else is better than me. Oh, I'll never get there, whatever that might be. Pausing. What do you need? What's happening? And other times, drawing the line, having a boundary with my inner dialogue, like, you're not invited here. No more, no more. How can we be compassionate? How can I love myself right now? And then I stand for that and I don't tolerate the critic. And so when someone comes along in my life who trespasses or doesn't respect my boundaries or is always late, and I feel a sense of, you don't care about me, then it's easier for me to just have a courageous conversation, a loving, compassionate conversation to establish better agreements. You know, it's really important to ask for what we want. It's really important to not assume everyone is going to know how to communicate, but we can ask for what we want. Creating relational space, right? Creating a relational, energetic space with ourselves in our physical realm, taking care of our bodies, taking care of our environment, taking care of our mind and what we let it think, giving ourselves self-love and nurturing and ways that we can support ourselves in love and adore ourselves. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. Self-talk like, good job, you're doing better. Self-talk like, yeah, knowing what I know now, I'd do it differently, but this is how we learn. It's really parenting self, caring for self, being the partner we've been looking for, loving ourselves, adoring ourselves. It is essential. And the more and more we do that in a healthy way, we will have people in our lives. They will be the people we choose to be our friends, our lovers, our romantic partners, our co-workers, all of it, right? Our clients, our collaborators, because that's what we're used to. That's what we've established inside our own consciousness, inside our own lives, inside our world. So how we treat ourselves is how we train others to treat us. And we can improve our relationships starting right now by improving the relationship we have with ourselves.